Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review, and back on to another 20th anniversary movie review. Since the other one I did was reviewing Fire Down Below, which was the 20th anniversary review of a Steven Seagal film. Now I figure out to do another one from another action star, which is Van Damme. And one that came out was released in 1997. And this one from 1997 from Jean-Claude Van Damme is Double Team. Also starring basketball player Dennis Rodman and Mickey Rourke. And also co-starring Paul Freeman from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and also played Ivan Ooze from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film. He's in this as well. Now with Double Team, I do like the film. I got some good entertainment values to it, and it's directed by this guy by the name of I can't pronounce the name. Something Hark. I think he's a Chinese director. I think he's directed the films from China, but I think this is his first American debut film to make. And when the film came out, it bombed hard. Thanks for his minimum budget was $30 million. It made $11 million at the box office. Of course, it met with negative reviews as well, and it was nominated for 3 Razzies, and it won 3 Razzies for worst supporting actor Dennis Rodman, and it's for worst new star Dennis Rodman, and worst screen couple Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman. So it was nominated for 3, and it won 3. Which that I kind of see though, but. Well, the Razzies are picky nowadays, but I do kind of see that, though. And I do believe that around this kind of time, I think that Jean-Claude Van Damme was, like, doing drugs or something. I haven't read that much history on Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I think around this time he was kind of doing some of that stuff, though. But wasn't that not entirely sure on that, though, but. If it is, I do kind of see how he is in the film, but I will say, like I said, and it does have a 4.7 on IMDb. It has an 11% Rotten Tomatoes. It's definitely one of his best films, but it's definitely not of his worst. So it's an in between. But I do like the film. This one here from Los Angeles Times is a slam banger. It's one of Van Damme's best. It's not one of his best, but I do like the film. This one from the Chicago Tribune called a stylish action show, high style, high energy, and high speed. That I can agree with. I can definitely see that. I do get the stylish part. I can see some of the shots that are stylish. I can do see that, so I do get that part, and it's also a fast paced film. It's under was it probably didn't say it, but it's nice. It's 93 minutes, but without any credits, I'd probably say less than 90 minutes, and it's very well paced, and you do some good action scenes and some good moments from Van Damme. Mickey Rourke. I think he was I think he played a good bad guy. If I were to pick, I'm sure people will say this. Oh, was he a good villain in Iron Man 2? He didn't have much to do in Iron Man 2. He had that one moment at the racetrack, and then didn't do much except talk. We'll tell with Sam Rockwell. Then he had very little at the end between Don Cheadle and Robert Downey Jr. So let's say there was not much to him as a bad guy. I think he had much better to do with the bad guy in this film. But I had to make her so someone would bring it up. Oh, what about Iron Man 2 as Whiplash? But I still think he was a good bad guy in this. Um, but for the film, how the film opens up, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme plays Jack Quinn. He's kind of this guy who's for anti-terrorism. He's in this place. He takes this this armored truck has carrying with plutonium, and he drives it out. He wrote right about he drives it out of the gates, and he's being chased, and there's some people are blocking the road. One of like a tank, and they're shooting at him, and at one point where does a jump and it goes right through a train, like through a boxcar. And I was like, hey, cool. This is good. This is so far so good for opening up a film. Um, but then he said he's good. That was like his last can't talk again. His last mission because he's supposed to retire because he has a wife and his wife is pregnant and is expected soon. But then one guy comes in and he says, the guy Mickey Rourke's character Stavros, he's out there and he's supposed to be like the last one. Do this and then you'll probably retire for good. So he does agree to it. He gets a team together, and they meet at this carnival amusement park, and they're all in position, and they see Mickey Rourke. Jean-Claude Van Damme has the sights on him until he gets like kind of sidetracked because Mickey Rourke has a son. Yeah, he has a little boy with them, and then Mickey Rourke sees that he takes a shot and kills this woman's sniper that was next to Van Damme, shoots right through the snipe, kills her, and he's taking out some other parts of the team, and they got bad guys with him too, and they're shooting. And at least another, all between this, his son, Mickey Rourke's son, dies, and he does get upset, and he is upset on that. And then when there's another Van Damme, he gets some fights with some bad guys, and he's getting shoot at, and of course you get the first thing is that I think a product placement clearly this movie is Coca-Cola. That's one of the things how this film is known for his product placement for Coca-Cola. Like he's on like where the concession stands is, and he like shows like he nearly trips and falls on these cans of Coca-Cola. Right, he turns into he's about to slip. He turns into like a kick or something, and then one leads to another is that he goes to like to this place where there's these babies are, and like and he gets to go a decent fight with Mickey Rourke, and there's one baby in a cart. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, he saves his baby because Mickey Rourke throws a grenade. He throws it into this elevator, and he's like shields the baby, and he takes the brunt of the force because like the grenade blast, it had ricochets, all this stuff, ricochet, I should say, and he gets like the brunt force of it, and he gets injured, and he ends up in this mysterious place called the Colony. And it's like a place for it's a place for all these ex agents and even old enemies that are exes as well, where he knows who these people are, and they thought they were all dead. So for all these ex agents and ex enemy agents, they're all assumed dead and get to live on this place, but they're also prisoners as well. And the place does, and even it's not like a prison. It's like a really nice place, where it's like it has a swimming pool, has like a nice place to it, like a place to eat or something like that. But the thing is, they're not allowed to leave because if they do try to escape the ocean, it has like these lasers, and then just one touch and zapped, you get zapped, blown up. And there's also thing with this thumbprint he has to click in, and he gets to put in this whole room where all these people are. And to get to debunk problems that for other like how far around the world, like they look at this situation with this plane crash, and they examine the possibilities, but what happened, and like so then like Jean-Claude Van Damme, he debunks that it was a cover up, like with the president, making he's lying, it's a conspiracy and all that, and all this does kind of something interesting because he's a room for all these people. It has like holograms and they're what else is happening out there, and they could examine this. They could examine this problem, seeing what are the possibilities, but how did this happen, and interesting. I find that kind of interested about it. And they're all sitting in this chair, and they're all sitting here, and so Paul Freeman's kind of like, I would probably say he kind of like runs it because he knows like where all the stuff is, and he also explains about he tells Van Damme about this place and how the way it's run and what's where you can't go and all that, and also think about these guardians, like each person has a guardian, and Paul Freeman is his guardian, and then Van Damme, he gets back into shape. He's like doing his leg stretches and lifting stuff. And I like the fact where he's in his in the bathtub and he's holding his breath. I like the fact that he has a cigarette and he has marked these lines to mark them as timers. And as the cigarette goes down, make sure how far it goes down for him to hold his breath. I like that. I liked it, and he's planned to his escape, where he cuts off like a he gets like one of those I forget what they're called though, like not like a scalpel or something, and he cuts off like the very thin because to get the thing from the mechanism for the thumbprint. He cuts like a smidge of it off to get the thumbprint off, and I was like, ooh. I was like, oh, I can't imagine, like, just actually kind of slice the thin of it off. That was a little bit like, ooh. And then how he gets to the cliff, and then because there are planes that come by to drop off supplies and all that, and he times it the moment when the thumbprint is being activated, and then as soon as he drops, and he screams like, ah, and I think someone where they turn off the lasers to the ocean for them to drop the stuff, and he gets an underwater fight, and only to know that he gets out of lifted on the crate to the box towards the airplane, and one of the guy underwater, he gets zapped by a laser. Then he gets to fight with these people on the plane, and I like the fact where he asks the guys that they have do you have a parachute? He says yeah, and he kicks the guy off, and it shows that he's not a cruel bastard. He makes sure these people are safe, because because you don't want to kick him off and just kill them. So that's why they say, oh, okay, yeah, he has a parachute, and that person has a parachute, so they make sure he throws them out, they all land safely. And then he goes and sees Dennis Rodman, which he visited him early in the film. I forgot to mention he visited him early in the film, and you don't see him come back for like, I guess say probably to like the 40-minute mark. He's in there for the beginning, but then he cuts a bit of him for at the 40-minute mark when he comes back to see him. And like he runs his place, it's kind of like a weird place. I mean, how the way people are dressed, and there's like I guess it's like a woman in a scuba tank or breathing whatever, and it's kind of like a weird place. And he kind of like has like the weapons behind the scenes and has all these weapons. And like from earlier when we first saw him, he pulled like this kind of, I think it was like an earring, and he's like, and Dennis was like, did you pull that? Fire in the hole. And it's an explosion. And he tells him that he'll pay him. He has like tells like 3 fake bank accounts, which he says he told a lie on. And he's like, he says, you're kind of trouble, and I like trouble. And so he's gonna help him out. When he gets into this airplane, he made like this invention because he don't need a parachute, so he knows how it works. And he's like, okay. And Jean-Claude just goes and pushes him out first, and he dives out too. And they activate this thing, which is it's kind of like a parachute though, but it's not though. But it seals both of them inside. It's like in the shape of a basketball. And that's one thing. Okay, Game with Dennis Rodman. Okay, I can definitely see I can definitely see the Razzies nominate him. I can definitely see that because within the same year, Shaquille O'Neal did Steel. Now, of course, I'm gonna ask who want to compare who is worse, Dennis Rodman or Shaquille O'Neal. I would probably I would still pick Shaquille O'Neal because I don't buy him as a superhero, and I don't think he's not that good of an. I don't think he's not a good actor as well. Kazam, guys, you get. I don't know where I can start with Kazam, and then the Steel. Steel is much worse than Kazam because Steel he's just he's a wooden superhero. He's no superhero. I don't buy him as a superhero, and his acting is very wooden. And all he does, smiles, and he tries to act like the superhero. He can't act for shit in for a superhero. Steel still sucks. I'll probably say I'll still say as much you get the references because there's more basketball references than in Steel. I will give Steel that. There was not that too many basketball references. I think for I recall was like one at the end of Steel where he has the grenade and he says, "I never make these." The the freehand throws or what Shaquille does. I never make these. Okay, you get the one basketball reference. But for the rest of this whole film, you get so many basketball references that Dennis Rodman does. He says, for instance, where of course the whole thing shaped of basketball with a parachute when they get out of there, right, of the plane, and then they went to one part where he says it's a little explosive, and they have to hide behind this part of the wall, and they have to throw something to detonate it, and he misses. And it's like, oh, it's air shot, and then he says, one thing is I'd never missed twice, and. Or another reference where he throws a guy into this square hole in the wall. It's not like it's like a window, but it's a square hole in the wall, and he says, "Oh, that should have been a 5-pointer." But he just gets. I know we get it. He's a basketball player. I get that, but you don't need to you can keep on telling us that over and over again to make sure that we know he's a basketball player. I mean, Michael Jordan. I love Space Jam because you get around this time you get to think that these basketball players can act in films. Shaquille O'Neal, he cannot act, and I could definitely see the same thing with Dennis Rodman, but I will still pick Dennis Rodman over Shaquille O'Neal. I still do because Shaquille O'Neal's performances are horrendous. Sad to say. But Michael Jordan, I still pick Michael Jordan. I will still pick better than Dennis Rodman because I love Space Jam, and I grew up watching Michael Jordan. And plus, in Space Jam, he was playing himself. He does better acting as playing as himself than both Dennis Rodman and Shaquille O'Neal playing in actual characters. But yeah, but I also pick Dennis Rodman over Shaquille O'Neal still. But yeah, I know that I would do say it is nitpicking. It was annoying. Keep on hearing the basketball references. I will give that. That is a nitpick. But does that still kill the film for me? No. So after that, Van Damme, he goes back to his house and seeing that everything is a setup, and he gets some nice good explosions where his house explodes. And you do get where you see Van Damme in front, you see a CG background of flames. You do see that, or even a couple times when there are stunt doubles that's not Van Damme. Clearly, I can see, like how in Sudden Death, which was a nitpick though, because you clearly see some stunt doubles. You do get a couple here though, but it doesn't bother me though. But I can do say, oh, that's not Van Damme. It's easy to point out. And he shoots some bad guys, and again, once he compares it with Dennis Rodman, and where he steals his small car and his head sticking out of it. And just Van Damme's like, could you steal a bigger car? And then you see that Paul Freeman is on Van Damme's tail because he's supposed to be watching him. He pops up every now and then though, but he's not in the film that much. And they go to this one other place where there's a big crowd, and another release another is that of course it's supposed to be at this hotel where his wife's supposed to be holding up. And then when there's another, bad guys are shooting good guys, and good shooting bad guys, and also innocent people are getting killed. And Van Damme, he goes to the building where this one bad guy has like a suitcase that's like a machine gun, and he gets in the knife with this Asian guy who was like using this a switchblade as on his feet, on one of his foot, And it's a kind of decent fight. How the guy knows how to like use a knife, or use his foot as a knife for use a knife, and then he helped Dennis Rodman. Van Damme goes to this place where Dennis Rodman where he knows these monks, kind of like on computers, like calls them like cyber monks. I do think that was kind of like a not funny thing. Oh, because they're on computers and they're help. I don't know. It was just the whole concept of it. The whole concept of the idea of it. I didn't think that was not that quite funny. But this is me though. But they do kind of help out but they do help him out to go to one part where Mickey Rourke is at. And of course they get at least the part where there's this little grate where they have to get through is where Dennis Rodman gets his basketball joke with a air shot, and I never missed twice. And then they get into a fight with some other people, and Dennis Rodman, once again, he fights this other guy, he throws one guy, and of course he said, that should have been a 5-pointer. Oh, and I was like, okay, stop with our basketball references, we get it. I mean, I was also enough to say, though, at least with Dennis Rodman, like, along with Michael Jordan, was basketball players I knew growing up. Unlike some basketball players I don't probably know of today. But, like Dennis Rodman with other basketball players that also appeared in Space Jam, like Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, they were with Patrick Johnson. And, Bugsy, I forgot what Bugsy, what his last name was. But, those basketball player stuff, those from the 90s, I mean, I could definitely, I definitely see why people don't like, don't see him as Dennis Rodman as an action star. I get to definitely see that, though. But I could still pick him. I could tolerate him more than Shaquille O'Neal. So, even Shaquille O'Neal, he was nominated for a Razzie for the film Steel, but he didn't win though. And of course, that was during the time when the comic book genre was dying out during the mid-90s. So, but and then at least another where he was gonna face Mickey Rourke, and there's these landmines that have crosses on them where they are, and then he gets chased by a tiger. And I like they used a real tiger for pretty much the whole entire thing. It looked like a real tiger, or otherwise there would have been some good. I know there was maybe there was some bits of here with maybe CG enhanced, but for the pretty much the whole entire thing with the tiger looked real to me. They used a real tiger chasing Van Damme, and then at least another that's where. He fights with Mickey Rourke. Dennis Rodman rides on a motorcycle to save his baby. And he gets a good fight between Van Damme and Mickey Rourke. It was nice to see that. And then one part where Dennis Rodman, he switches some of the crosses around. So at the very end, at the end of it, where Mickey Rourke he steps on a mine because Dennis Rodman switched some of the crosses around, and as they both get out of there, the Tiger is going for Mickey Rourke, and you see a little bit on his face where, because right next to him is the toy that his son had. I guess I get the frame with the expression on his face as he takes his foot off to set off the explosion as the Tiger is about to jump on him. I guess he's gonna be with his son, I guess. Because you can tell because it zooms in on his face, you get that he's getting a little emotional on that. So yeah, he does he takes his foot off, sets off the explosion. He dies, including the Tiger. Of course, nowadays I know that they would use a CGI Tiger nowadays. And of course, speaking with a CG Tiger, if anyone references The Walking Dead with King Ezekiel, there's your CGI Tiger. I don't know why I know they probably couldn't afford to use a real tiger, but they had to. I don't know. But I'm saying, if anyone references a tiger, probably the best thing on film or on television, they probably bring up The Walking Dead with the tiger with King Ezekiel. But I'm not getting into that. That's for another time. But I like the fact that most they use a real tiger in this film. Rather take that than a CGI tiger. I mean, another thing with the CGI tiger with Shere Khan in the 2016 Jungle Book film, it's a good looking effect, and plus Idris Elba was a good voice as Shere Khan. Mine is forbidden. And I'll get to that another time when I review that film. But I'm saying again because they use it from pretty much the. Otherwise, it must have been really good CG. Otherwise, it would have fooled me. But for the most part, I saw a real tiger. Unless my eyes were deceiving me. And then, of course, as the whole place the Coliseum is blowing up, Paul Freeman catches up to him. He's holding the baby. Of course, they all get saved by, of course, a very fake-looking CGI fire explosion, where all three of them are hiding behind a Coke machine. I just find that hilarious, and I found that, like, okay, there's no way they survive if it wasn't for a Coke machine. But I just find it hilarious. Fake CG fire, and they're all hiding behind it. It's just hilarious. So as they exit, what was it? The Paul Freeman was gonna do something like try to make him disappear though, but Dennis Rodman takes his lucky coin, makes a smoke effect, and as Jean-Claude Van Damme takes his baby and drives away, and Paul Freeman he walks away and it's with Dennis Rodman on his own saying, "Oh, I'm sure they'll blame me for this. I wonder what fine it's gonna be." So yeah, I like Double Team, but it's definitely not one of Van Damme's best, but it's definitely not one of his worst. I do like the film, so I put it more of above average than some of the other stuff, and it's also a funny thing that this film and Steven Seagal's Fire Down Below both released this same year, and they were both bombs, and both of them were nominated for Razzies as well. Well, except this one won, and Fire Down Below didn't win anything though. But I don't know. Which one I find better? I will still, if for the film for Van Damme and Seagal released in the same year, maybe I think I would still pick Fire Down Below over this film because I got more entertainment from Fire Down Below, some more good fights, and back when Van Damme was good. Van Damme, I didn't mean to say that. I mean back when Seagal was good. I mean, Van Damme, he has a better track record today than Seagal has. And once again, I'm mixing and stuttering my words again. But well. But yeah, I'll probably pick Fire Down Below over this though. But I'm just making reference because both action stars released the same year and they're both bombs. They got earned Razzies and panned by critics. It's funny how it is. But yeah, I still like Double Team. Van Damme was good. Um, and also got a funny thing. Speaking with Seagal as well, the music in this film, the music what, was done by Gary Chang, who did the music for Under Siege with Seagal, and I can clearly hear. I think he just recycled some of his score from Under Siege into this film. I can clearly hear some of the dun 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 dun, dun some of the clicking or the dun 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 dun. I can't do the score, but I can clearly hear I can clearly hear in some scenes he used recycled pieces of his score from Under Siege and put in this film. Like clearly, it's that identifiable. If you listen to the score from Under Siege, and then you watch this film, and when you get to some certain scenes, you'll hear some of the same score from Under Siege into this film. Because it's from the same guy, so I mean, why would you reuse some of your score from Under Siege and put in this film? I have no idea why. But that's another thing. That's another thing I have to point out, though. But I like Van Damme. I like the fight scenes. There's some good explosions. The fights between him and Mickey Rourke were good. Mickey Rourke was I would say was overall a good villain. And I like some of the interesting ideas, like with the room at the colony, with how they debunked whatever, and the idea that he's a prisoner, but it's a fine place for ex-agents and enemies where they just barely think they're dead and all that. And some of the things where he was doing his pumping up and the thing where he did with his thumb, and those little ideas like those I like, and but yeah, and then once again with Dennis Rodman, I would still pick him over Shaquille O'Neal. Dennis Rodman, he's not the worst actor. By miles, he's not the worst actor. I could think of other people that are so much worse than him. As for the referencing for basketball players, Michael Jordan, I'll still pick Michael Jordan over Dennis Rodman. But Dennis Rodman, I think I still pick him over Shaquille O'Neal. So I think Shaquille O'Neal is much more worse. But I can tolerate Dennis Rodman. But even though I can clearly see how he's not all that great, I can clearly say, but I can tolerate him. But Shaquille O'Neal, I don't. I don't. He tries to be a funny actor, and well, Steel was not supposed to be a comedy. It's supposed to be a superhero film from the DC films. John Henry Irons, Steel. It's a great comedy to laugh at as a bad film. That's if I could put on Steel, I would just laugh my ass. I would just laugh my ass off. I'm not watching it as a superhero film. I'm watching it as a straight out, flat out comedy. That's why I say I still pick Dennis Rodman over Shaquille O'Neal. Kazam's just buy him as a genie. I'm laughing because this is why how horrible Shaquille O'Neal is, and that's why I picked Dennis Rodman over Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, even I would give credit to Steel. It didn't have that many basketball references as this film did. But yeah. By overall, I still like Double Team. I still think it is still I can get the stylish part of it. It says in the back of here. I do get the some of it is kind of stylish. And some of the shots are different, and even though there's some fake CGI fire around, I guess that's tolerable, especially at the end. But the whole thing with the whole Coca-Cola product placement from Van Damme almost slipping on Coke cans, and he's using Coke cans, to make the thing to activate the thumbprint, or the Coca-Cola machines at the end of the film where they're shielding themselves from the fire. Oh man. But I still like the film. But yeah, I could definitely see I could definitely see how it's not all that great though. But I still like it. I beg to differ overall. But I still pick Fire Down Below over this. But I still like Double Team. I think it's I would recommend it though, but if you don't like the film, I can clearly understand though. But I would give it 1 thumbs up for it, not 2, but I would give it a thumbs up. It'll be worthy of that. But I still like the film, but if anyone does not like the film, I can definitely see why. But in my point of view, my perspective, I like the film for what it is. For some of the interesting ideas and for the funny chemistry between Van Damme and Dennis Rodman. But yeah, that's what he's not the worst actor. Believe me, I can still for this film, for his performance this film alone, he's just better than some other worse actors that I've seen lately and for the past few years. Believe me, there are worse. But anyway, that's my 20th anniversary movie review of Double Team. I would say worth it for a 20th anniversary movie review. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.